I'm speaking today to Mr. Miroslav Novak, analyst for AKCENTA CZ, who will share his view on the economic outlook for Romania in the context of the pandemic. Hello, Miroslav.
Hello.
So Europe is currently going through the deepest economic downturn in a post-war history. How quickly will we return to the pre-coronavirus production levels, and what to expect in the following quarters?
The situation about coronavirus pandemic has improved in the last few weeks, but the uncertainty about the future economic development still remains very high. Probably we can expect a very deep decline in GDP this year, a very big economic slump. But it's not easy to say how deep the decline will be. We don't know yet. According to the newest macroeconomic prognosis of European Central Bank, we can expect in optimistic scenario decline in GDP about 6%. In negative scenario, in pessimistic scenario, about 12%. And in baseline scenario, which is the most probable scenario, we can expect the decline in GDP about 9%, which is as many as double compared to 2009. My personal view is that we will see only a very modest recovery in the second half of this year. And it means that unemployment will go higher. We will see lower investments and probably lower inflation and, of course, lower household spending. But I'm quite more optimistic about the next year when I expect acceleration of the economic recovery. But I'm quite skeptic that we will manage to reach the pre-coronavirus output levels by the end of 2021.
The European Central Bank has taken a number of expansionary measures to support European economy. The European Commission has also presented a 750 billion euro recovery plan. Is this enough?
Yeah, it's true that the monetary policy of European Central Bank is very expansionary. ECB has presented so far many expansionary measures. For example, pandemic emergency purchasing program, which is in total more than 1 trillion of euros. Besides that, for example, in Eurozone there are negative interest rates. There are other measures like longer-term refinancing operations, and together it's really a huge support from monetary policy to economic growth in Eurozone. But it's necessary to mention, I would like to emphasize that monetary policy itself has some limits, and we are very close to these limits just now. And it's really important to support economic growth by fiscal policy, and that's why I find it really important that big countries in Europe, France and Germany, were able to agree on a fiscal stimulus plan. But if it's enough or not, it's really difficult to say. I think that European economy will need more support in the near future. And yes, we will know better later this year.
The COVID-19 pandemic has also negatively affected Romania. What to expect from the Romanian economy this year, and which are the biggest risks for a quick return to a pre-coronavirus state?
Romania, like other European countries, has problems, or there is economic downturn because of the coronavirus, anti-coronavirus measures. And these measures were introduced in the second half of the March, and still we are not in a normal state yet. It will take some time. The situation in the Romanian economy normalize. I expect very deep economic downturn, especially in the second quarter of this year. More than 10%, and for the whole this year, we can expect declining GDP by 5 to 10%, which is quite a lot. Especially if I compare it with economic growth in Romania in the last few years. About risks, I think that the main risk for the Romanian economy is connected with external environment, especially with economic recovery in key markets like Germany, Italy, France. I would mention another risk for Romania, and this risk is automotive industry, which is really important for Romanian economy. It is stated that around 14% of Romanian economy, Romanian GDP, is connected with automotive industry. And the fact is that the numbers, cars registrations in Eurozone are very bad. And I'm worried that we will see a very weak demand for cars in Eurozone in the second half of this year, which is very negative for Romania. And last but not least, I would mention another risk for Romania, and it's connected with increasing government debt, which can have a negative impact on downgrading Romanian rating.
The leo's exchange rate against euro was surprisingly stable in March and April, much more than other Central Eastern currencies. What is behind that, and what do you expect from leu in the second half of this year?
Yes, it's true that Romanian leu was much more stable, especially in March, compared to other regional currencies like Czech koruna, Hungarian forint, or Polish zloty. What is behind that? I would look for an explanation in Bank of Romania's monetary policy stance. Unlike the other central banks, Romanian Central Bank has cut so far interest rates very, very softly, unlike the other central banks. Now we have the main interest rate in Romania is 1.75%. For example, in Czech Republic, it's a little bit only more than zero. In Poland, it's more than zero, and in the Eurozone, it's there are negative interest rates. So we have a huge positive interest rate differential between Romanian leu and the other currencies. My personal opinion is that in the second half of this year, Bank of Romania will be forced to cutting further interest rates towards zero, and that's why I expect moderate depreciation of Romanian leu, especially against euro.
Thank you.
Thank you.